biology. In today's class, I will be giving you an overview about the various terms which are used in genetics. Okay, we will be discussing about various terms used in genetics. So, the first term which should be there is the genes. Because if we do not know what are genes, we would not be able to study genetics, right? So genes are basically the hereditary units which are passed on from parents to the offsprings. From parents to offsprings. Now, you would be hearing a lot of times from your childhood till now that okay, this thing is in my genes, drawing that is in my genes, cooking is in my genes, education, intelligence is in my genes. Okay, so genes are basically the basic structural as well as functional unit which are passed from the parents to you. Okay, and that is what determines how you will look like. Okay, so genes are the hereditary units which are passed on from parents to the offspring, and these genes are present on the DNA, which is the hereditary material. Which is the hereditary material or the genetic material of an organism. Okay, DNA is the hereditary material or the genetic material of an organism on which these genes are present. Okay, and in a cell, when I talk about cells, in a cell, during the time of cell division, these DNA is present in a condensed form. Okay, DNA is present in a condensed form to fit inside the cell, and this condensed form of DNA is known as chromosome. You can take similarity like this. During Uttarayan, when you fly the kites, the thread of the kite can be considered similar to the DNA. And when you are just wrapping that thread around your fingers so that there is not a lot of thread surrounding you, you are just wrapping it surrounding your fingers. So this wrapped structure, okay, which you call lacha in Hindi, this wrapped structure is what is chromosome. Okay, now the genes are present on the DNA, the genes are present on the chromosome, and when I talk about chromosomes, we have two sets of chromosomes. One from the mother and another one from the father. Okay, out of these two sets of chromosomes, your mother gives you 23 chromosomes and your father gives you 23 chromosomes, making a total of 46 chromosomes. So I can say that I have 23 pair of chromosomes. So here this thing is very important that I do not have 46 different types of chromosomes. Okay, I have 23 pairs. That is first 23, 1 to 23, and the next 23 are just the copies of the first 23. Okay, so I can give you an example like this: 1, 2, 3 up to 23, and the another set is just the copy. So this is how I have 23 pairs of chromosome. Okay, and these two chromosomes, that is 1 and 1 or 3 and 3 or let's say 4 and 4, these are known as homologous chromosomes. These are known as what? These are known as homologous chromosomes. So if I want to define homologous chromosome, hear it very clearly. Homologous chromosomes are those chromosomes which have same set of genes. Which have same set of genes. Okay, I told you that genes are present on the chromosomes, and one set of chromosomes are Okay, and let's say 3 and 4 or 1 and 23, they are known as heterologous chromosomes. They will be known as what? They will be known as heterologous chromosomes. So what are heterologous chromosomes? Heterologous chromosomes are those chromosomes which do not have a similar set of genes. Okay, so now as you are clear between what is homologous chromosome, let us understand the next term. Okay, make homologous chromosome very clear in your mind, then only we will be able to understand the next term. Next one is allele. Okay, the next term is allele. What are alleles? Alleles are different forms of a same gene. Okay, alleles are the different forms of a same gene. Now what does this mean? Different forms of a same gene. Let's say, I'll give you an example of hair color or hair type. Okay, so hair type, the gene is for the hair type. Okay, the gene is for what? The gene is for the hair type. So I can have two alleles of it. Let's say straight hair and curly hair. So these two are the alleles of the same gene. Okay, I repeat the definition. Alleles are the different forms of the same gene. The gene is only one type. That is, I'm talking about hair type, the gene of hair type. Which two forms of hair type I have? I can have either a gene for straight hair or I can have a gene for curly hair. So that is what is an allele. If I talk about my height, okay, the gene is for the height. Which alleles do I have of a height? I can either have a tall height, I can either have a short height. Okay, so these two are the alleles of one single gene, that is hair type. Allele is clear. So now based on allele, you can understand the next thing, that is dominant allele and recessive allele. Okay, once you are clear with allele, you will be able to understand two more terms, which is dominant allele and recessive allele. Okay, dominant allele is the one which when present masks the expression of any other allele. Okay, dominant allele is that allele which when present, whenever the dominant allele will be present, any other allele with it will not be expressed, only the dominant allele will be expressed. Let's say for peas, okay, the plant height, we have tall as dominant. So whenever there will be an allele present for tall height, no other gene or no other allele of the height will be expressed. Right? Coming to recessive allele. Recessive allele is the one which is expressed only in homozygous condition. Okay? Recessive allele is the one which is expressed only and only in homozygous condition. Make sure it is not homologous, it is homozygous. Okay, so dominant allele is clear. It is the one which when present masks the expression of any other allele which is present with it. Only this allele will be expressed. Now, for understanding recessive allele, we need to understand one more term, which is homozygous condition. your father, right? So if I talk about the gene, okay, the height gene, okay, the gene for the height, I will have 2 alleles for the same. Okay, why 2 alleles? Because from chromosome number 1 from my mother, chromosome number 1 from my father, they are homologous chromosomes. They will have same set of genes. Okay, so if the height gene is present in one chromosome, it will also be present in the other chromosome. So I can either have allele for tall and tall, that is tall from my mother and tall from my father, or I can have tall from my mother and short from my father, or I can have short from both, or I can have short gene from both. Okay, so these are the 3 conditions which can be possible. So here we know that tall height is dominant. So it can be a capital T condition. We know that the dominant allele is always represented by a capital letter. Okay, tall is dominant, short is recessive. You understood the meaning of dominant and recessive, right? Coming to tall and short, it can be capital T and small t, because recessive allele will always be expressed by small alphabet, and short, again recessive and recessive. So if you have similar alleles, okay, this is known as homozygous condition. This is known as homozygous condition. That means you are having similar allele on the homologous chromosomes. Okay, height, I have both the alleles of tall height. Either I have both the alleles of short height. So this is known as homozygous condition. That is similar allele on the homologous chromosomes. And this condition is known as heterozygous condition. That is, I am having 2 different alleles of the same gene. Okay, 2 different alleles of the same gene. So did you understand the difference between homozygous condition and homologous? Can you make difference now? Coming to recessive allele. Recessive allele is expressed only in homozygous condition. That means when both the chromosomes, from the pair of homologous chromosomes, if both the chromosomes are having same allele for a recessive character, then and only then it will be expressed. That is, it will be expressed only when there is this condition. This is homozygous recessive. This is what? Homozygous recessive condition. So when there will be this condition, at that time the character which will be seen will be the short. That is, the height will be short. Under both of this condition, that is capital T and capital T small t, the height will be tall. You understand that the height will be tall with capital T, but what about this? Remember, recall back the definition of dominant allele. Dominant allele, which when present masks the expression of any other allele which is present along with it. So there is a dominant allele present over here. So if this dominant allele is present, it will mask the expression of all the other alleles. That is, when whatever else is present, if one tall allele is present, there will be no other expression, only the dominant trait will be expressed. Okay, so this is known as homozygous dominant because tall height is dominant. This is known as heterozygous, and this is known as homozygous recessive because short height is recessive over tall height. Right? So these are some of the basic concepts, that is gene, DNA, chromosome, allele. What are alleles? Dominant allele, recessive allele, homozygous condition, heterozygous condition. These are some of the basic concepts which you will be requiring to study your genetics throughout. Right? So make sure you are understanding this perfectly and writing the definitions for the same. That's all for the day. Thank you so much, kids. See you next time.